Welcome back to Addiction, Depression, Recovery. Today, I want to talk about something that helped me get through the beginning of my road to sobriety. You see, I'm not a mental health professional. I haven't studied the psychology of addiction. I don't fully understand how depression works or what it really is. And I don't work as an addiction counselor or therapist or social worker. In fact, I'm still a bartender and a musician who plays in bars all the time. Those things made it hard at first, as if quitting drinking isn't hard enough on its own. The beginning of your road to recovery may be a very rough one, it almost always is. But in these first few videos, I'm going to talk about ways you can make that part of the process easier. And the first thing I did when I decided to get clean once and for all is what I'm going to talk about first, and that is research. Let me explain. I had a mountain in front of me. I knew I had to climb it, but I didn't know how. That's the best way that I can explain how it felt. So, how do people climb mountains if they haven't ever done it before? Well, they hire guides. They buy professional equipment. They check what the weather will be like when they plan to climb the thing. They find other people to climb the mountain with them because there is strength and safety in numbers. And then they get to work and just start climbing the damn thing, instead of sitting at base camp, staring up at it. The metaphor fit nicely in my mind, and I set it in place. I had what felt like an impossible task in front of me. I could sit and stare at it, sweat over it, stress myself out until I had a relapse out of sheer terror at the idea of it, or I could climb the damn thing. I got online, I searched how to quit drinking, and read the first 5 results, then the next 5, and soon I was through the first 20 results and still reading. Then I searched alcoholism, making a plan, and got through a couple pages of those results too. Every day I picked a new search and read up until my head was going to explode. I read technical psychological terms I couldn't pronounce and Googled them until I knew what they meant. I probably got a lot of them wrong and only thought I knew what they meant, but the information was all there, online. Easy to find. It's all there for you, too. And something funny happened. I suppose it's like what happens when you climb a mountain, too. Although, to be fair, I've never climbed a real mountain myself, just this mental one. But as I learned about what I was going through, and what I could expect to go through in the future, I began to understand that it was possible that people actually did this all the time. And the mountain seemed a little smaller, because I'd already climbed part of it. I learned how to make a plan and stick to it, how to hold myself accountable and create short-term goals for myself, how important communication and honesty are in this whole process. And I looked back at the route I had traveled, and I was halfway up the mountain already. I learned that just because you relapse, it doesn't mean you've failed. It's actually a learning opportunity. And suddenly, the peak was a lot closer than base camp. I was nearly there. There is one way that it's different from a real mountain, though. As far as I know, you eventually finish climbing real mountains. My mountain always keeps growing until it's just out of my reach. Because alcoholism isn't ever cured, and as you've all heard a lot before, I'm sure, you live day to day in sobriety. You never stop being an alcoholic. But you know what? The view right next to the peak is great. And you could see base camp clearly, more clearly than you could see it when you were in it. Clarity. That's what it's all about, really. But enough metaphors. Well, for this episode anyway. What I mean to say is just get on the internet and research exactly what you're going through. What were some of my searches? Addiction, strategies for recovery. Quitting drinking forever. Alcoholism, making a plan. How to quit drinking. Depression and alcoholism. Depression after alcoholism. Alcoholism, dealing with relapse. Yes, I did struggle with relapses, like everyone does. Drug addiction recovery. Local addiction help groups. Now, although I never actually joined a support group, I researched several in my local area in case my recovery was more difficult than I expected it to be. Psychology of alcoholism, psychology of addiction, physical effects of long-term alcohol abuse, addictive personality, sobriety staying positive, and many others I'm sure. I don't remember every search after all this time. But you should search for exactly what you are going through. Whatever it is, methamphetamine withdrawals, coping with gambling addiction, whatever struggle you are going through, you can find the resources and information online to demystify the process and make a plan to press forward with. Focus on key words that relate directly to your struggle: depression and insomnia, addicted to painkillers, alcoholism. Type in whatever you are feeling, type in anything you can think of, and start reading. You'll be amazed how much information you can find that can make things so much clearer. Clicking on this video means you've already started, so don't give up. Keep going. Focus, clarity, honesty. You can do this, and you can find out how. Be proactive and start learning. It can start today. Thank you for watching. I hope this helped. I know it helped me. This has been Addiction, Depression, Recovery. And remember, we do heal.